Nobody yelled out Kendrick. You just heard that in your head.
No, earlier.
When you go to sleep, you just hear somebody be like, Kendrick Lamar.
You know it's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos. Let's get it.
I'm on them tough. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
No friends in the industry. I had to draw the line between my brothers and my enemies. A fact.
With a single guest verse on Future and Metro Boomin's Like That, Kendrick Lamar launched a public and increasingly personal beef with Drake that became one of the year's biggest pop cultural events. In May last year, Kendrick ended the battle with an apparent TKO, capping off a string of withering diss tracks with Not Like Us, a vitriolic slab of character assassination that went on to become one of the year's most inescapable pop hits. His performance at the Kaya Forum in Inglewood the following month was widely characterized as a victory lap. As it turns out, it may only have been the closing of a chapter. Late last year, in a video clip announcing that he'd be headlining the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans this February, Kendrick referred to championships and said, "No round twos," a line that evoked a typically oblique yet peevish social media response from Drake. Future and Metro Boomin's decade-in-the-making new album, We Don't Trust You, was already one of the most feverishly anticipated rap releases in some time. On the song Like That, Kendrick delivers on that Christmas Eve energy with a guest verse that may as well be a Control sequel. But whereas that name-naming 2013 landmark was ultimately rooted in the spirit of competition, this time the gloves are off and the love is done.
Yeah, nigga, the gloves is off, the love is done, it's whatever, whenever, however, nigga.
Kendrick sets the tone early, declaring that he's choosing violence, and it's time for an opponent to prove that he's a problem. And though no names are officially named, a reference to Drake's song First Person Shooter and the album it lives on, For All the Dogs, means we have to consider this something more than a subliminal. On FPS, Drake brags about taking Michael Jackson's mantle for having the most Billboard Hot 100 #1 songs, going as far as to hit the Beat It steps with a sequined glove in the video.
I love a dinner with some fine women. When they start debating about who the gold, I'm like, go ahead.
Here, Kendrick formally casts himself as direct opposition, ending his verse with a haymaker referencing MJ's longtime Cold War enemy. Prince outlived Mike Jack. Sheesh. So, here is the thing. Kendrick and Drake have a complicated history with over 10 years worth of static. As fanfare around Kendrick Lamar grew, Drake was quick to embrace him, giving Kendrick his own interlude on his 2011 album Take Care, and bringing him along for the subsequent Club Paradise tour, which also included J. Cole, A$AP Rocky, Meek Mill, 2 Chainz, Waka Flocka Flame, and others. But even on that song, Buried Alive, tension was in the air, with Kendrick recounting his thoughts while receiving game during a meeting with Drake, then the more established in the industry at that point, and admitting to being irritated by Drake's success.
Looking in the mirror, I'm embarrassed. I'm feeling like a suicidal terrorist. React like an infant whenever you are me.
Nevertheless, they linked up for the excellent poetic justice on Kendrick's seminal Good Kid, Mad City album, but the collaborative vibes stopped a year later, after Drake was one of the many peers Kendrick named in his timeline-stopping Call to Arms verse on Big Sean's Control. A month or two after that moment, Drake dropped Nothing Was the Same, and in an interview with Elliott Wilson, slickly managed to give Kendrick his props while dismissing the verse at the same time.
It seems like nowadays people want to build Kendrick.
Nobody yelled out Kendrick. You just heard that in your head.
No, earlier.
When you go to sleep, you just hear somebody be like, Kendrick Lamar.
Fast forward a month to a cypher at the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards, where Kendrick Lamar rapped, "Nothing's been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes." 2 months later, Drake hops on a remix to Future's Titanic S and ends his verse with FN, gon' be FN. That's why we never gave a F when a FN switched up.
I hate y'all. I do anything to replace y'all. Shout out to Face Mom. A ghetto boy till I'm unemployed with a day job. And kicking boxes. I kick ass and then kick knowledge. I'm way more polished than 99% of the scholars you thought had graduated.
A little over 10 years later, a Future song sampling 3 6 Mafia, whose influence continues to have a stranglehold on the game, is once again the stage for a response. The decade in between has been rife with subliminals, references that could be reasonably taken as warning shots, but easily disavowed as harmless if either artist was asked. A spicy allusion to rappers using ghostwriters just months before that whole scandal broke out here.
I'm mad, but I ain't stressing. True friends, one question.
A charged I Put Him on My tour reminder there. The language, Element, Deep Water, 100, all reasonable diss canon but never made official. To say nothing of Kendrick and his cousin Baby Keem's The Hillbillies conspicuously aping Drake's sticky flow, or Drake saying he can't be like one of those guys who only drops albums every 3 to 5 years when announcing For All the Dogs.
But it's like I look around at all these faces, I know it's summertime, I gotta give you shit, like I just can't. I don't know about these guys that go away 3, 4, 5 years, wanna chill out, all that shit, that's not me. So, with that being said, I got an album coming out real soon for y'all, it's called For All the Dogs.
NFL star Marcellus Wiley once claimed he bore witness to one of the rappers taking it there when asked about the situation during an ESPN Sports Nation interview, but cooler heads prevailed. The rapper's team had the interview buried, and to this day, we don't know which of the two it was. While playing United States versus Soviet Union, though, both rappers maintained a close relationship with Germany. That is, J. Cole. Kendrick and Cole have yet to make a rap forum dream a reality with their long-alluded-to collab album, but stayed in communication on wax in other ways, like Kendrick handling hook duty on Cole's Under the Sun, or that time they did a beat swap and freestyle over each other's songs on Black Friday. Cole and Drake, meanwhile, have always been upfront about maintaining a real friendship outside of rap, but finally doubled down on that on wax with not one, but 2 collaborations last year, their first songs together in 10 years, and Cole joining Drake's nationwide tour for several dates. In another interview with Wilson, this time alongside Brian B. Miller at the tail end of the last decade, Drake mused that the next 10 years would be the time for him, Kendrick, and Cole to really show and prove who's built to last. Cole made the subtext plain on a 2021 freestyle over Drake's then-new song Pipe Down, rapping, "Some people say that I'm running third, they threw the bronze at me behind Drake and Dot. Yeah, them N is superstars to me." He leans into it even harder in his verse on Drake's first-person shooter, with love when they argue the hardest MC is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or me? We the big three, like we started a league. Unlike that, Kendrick is feeling a lot less kumbaya, rapping MF the big three, it's just Big Me. Between that and dismissively observing that N clickin' up earlier in the verse, some could argue that the song also functions as a J. Cole diss as well as Drake. But you could just as easily say the same about Cole's recent statements that he's out to prove he's the best as he preps his long-awaited album The Fall Off, a Black Album-esque manifesto he's crafting to ostensibly end all debate. After all, that big 3 line on first-person shooter does end with Cole declaring himself Muhammad Ali, a sentiment he's been doubling down on in one stellar verse after another for the last few years. He clarified in an interview with Lil Yachty that he never once awarded himself the bronze medal, just merely acknowledged that it was a rampant perception. So, in theory, the new Kendrick lines could be received by Cole as the same spirit of competition that he's been preaching. Cole would go on to respond to Kendrick with 7-Minute Drill, a diss track more notable for Cole admitting on it that he doesn't want to really go there with his one-time friend than any especially vicious jabs. As the internet spent the weekend debating if J. Cole's heart was really in it, by the following weekend, he would go on stage at his own Dreamville festival to confirm just that. He publicly retracted his diss, apologized to and bigged up Lamar, and even vowed to stay out of it even if Kendrick should respond to drill. We've gone hundreds of words without returning to the duo who delivered this moment: Future, the fourth face on that 2010 rap Mount Rushmore, and Metro Boomin, the super producer who's made some of his most potent music with. There's a deeper layer to Kendrick choosing a Future and Metro album as the stage to finally go at Drake. Metro has seemingly had his own problems with the Sixth God. In late 2023, he posted and subsequently deleted a tweet about his acclaimed album Heroes and Villains, continuing to lose awards to Drake and frequent Metro collaborator 21 Savage's album Her Loss. During a live stream not long after, Drake hilariously referenced the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, adding, "You guys make me sick to my stomach, fam." Despite trading a few more subliminal potshots across Twitter and IG, Metro downplayed any beef, saying the issue was not deep at all.
And to the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something?
Still, when eagle-eyed fans took note of Metro unfollowing Drake on Instagram, the definitive 21st century signpost of an unamicable split, ahead of the album's release, it didn't take a hip-hop scholar to assume that, as Kendrick would declare, it's up. And for those wondering how a producer-rapper beef would even reasonably play out, Metro makes it clear by serving up a new creative peak on Like That, with an obscenely screw-face-inducing beat sampling 80s rap duo Rodney O and Joe Cooley's classic Everlasting Bess, which was famously earlier sampled on 3-6 Mafia's Who the Crunkest, alongside Eazy-E's classic Easy Does It, as well as a splash of Ridin' Spinners. In effect, Kendrick and Metro are following playbooks beloved by the likes of Jay-Z before them, or even Drake with Back to Back in dissing your opponent on a song that's an undeniable banger whether people know the context or not. But why would Future, who has approximately 30 collaborations with Drake, including the 2015 collab album What a Time to Be Alive and 2 fairly recent tracks on Future's last solo album, cede airtime on his new project to a noted Drake enemy? No one knows for sure at press time, but it's possible they have issues of their own. Despite their prolific collaborations, their relationship has had its rough moments from day one. Recall 2011, when an ascendant Future got an assist from Drake remixing the former's Tony Montana, only to publicly bemoan Drake for refusing to do a video. And while they toured together in 2016, who can forget that time in 2013 when Future was briefly, allegedly, booted off of Drake's tour for less than flattering comments about his music in an interview? Drake and Kendrick's rivalry reached a cultural zenith during the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, where Lamar delivered a performance that many interpreted as a victory lap. He performed a modified version of Not Like Us, omitting the most contentious lyrics but retaining the song's confrontational essence. The performance was lauded for its artistry and boldness, solidifying Lamar's position in the public eye. Notably, Drake's former associates, Ezaa and Serena Williams, joined Lamar on stage, symbolically distancing themselves from Drake and aligning with Lamar. This public display underscored the personal and professional ramifications of the feud. In the aftermath of the Super Bowl performance, Drake appeared to signal a desire to move past the conflict. In his song Gimme a Hug from his latest collaborative album with Party Next Door, Some S Songs For You, released on February 14, 2025, Drake expressed a yearning for positivity and reconciliation, stating, "F a rap beef." This shift in tone suggested a possible end to the hostilities, though the lasting impact on both artists' careers remains a topic of discussion. Industry analysts have noted a decline in Drake's streaming numbers and public image, while Lamar's unapologetic approach has bolstered his standing as a fearless commentator on societal issues. The feud, while detrimental in some respects, has also highlighted the complexities of personal and professional relationships in the music industry. So, will it end, or will it keep going? All we can do for now is wait and see. And that's it from us today. Until next time. Thanks for watching!